Hello guys, like and share to show some love. What if I told you that the world's most important oil route just shut down, and the country most dependent on it didn't collapse? March 2026. The Strait of Hormuz is effectively closed. This narrow stretch of water carries 20% of the world's oil every single day. And for China, it's critical. So logically, China should be in crisis. But it's not. China's refineries are still running at full capacity. That's not luck. That's strategy. Let's start with one number, 1.3 billion barrels. That's how much oil China has in reserves. Now compare that to the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve, around 413 million barrels. China has more than 3 times that. But here's what makes it even more important. A large portion of that oil was bought cheap. From sanctioned countries, Iran, Russia, Venezuela. So while the West tried to isolate these countries, China quietly built one of the largest energy stockpiles in history. Now the big question, if Hormuz is closed, how is oil still reaching China? Here's how it works. 1. Oil is loaded in Iran. 2. Tankers turn off their tracking systems, AIS. 3. They sail toward Malaysia. 4. In international waters, oil is transferred ship to ship. 5. The oil is relabeled Iranian oil becomes Malaysian oil. Then it's shipped to China. Officially, China says, we import 0 oil from Iran. But look at the numbers. China imports about 1.3 million barrels a day from Malaysia. Malaysia only produces 400,000 barrels a day. So where does the rest come from? That gap is the shadow system. It's not hidden. It's visible in plain data. So who processes this oil? Not the big companies like Sinopec. They avoid sanctions. Instead, the job is done by small private refineries known as teapots, located mainly in Shandong province. Their role? Buy risky, sanctioned oil. Process it cheaply. Keep the system running. So the structure looks like this. Big companies stay clean. Small refineries take the risk. That's not accidental. That's design. The payment system. Now the most important piece, money. This oil is not paid for in US dollars. Instead, China uses CIPS, a payment network outside the Western system. So, no dollars, no SWIFT, no easy sanctions. The entire system is built to avoid US financial control. What happened after the crisis? After Hormuz closed, what should have happened? China's oil supply should collapse. But what actually happened? Imports from Iran increased, Russian supply surged. Pipelines kept flowing. Reserves filled the gaps instead of breaking. The system adapted. Reality check. Now let's be clear, China isn't unaffected. There are real pressures. Oil prices surged, discounts on Iranian oil shrank, refinery margins tightened, fuel prices had to be controlled. So no, China isn't comfortable, but it is stable. And that's the key difference. The real strategy. China didn't just survive this crisis, it prepared for it. Over a decade, it built 3 layers. 1. Massive reserves. 2. Diverse suppliers, nearly 50 countries. 3. A parallel system, shipping plus payments. And most importantly, a system designed outside U.S. control, the blockade test. In April 2026, the U.S. tried to stop this system. Naval blockades, tanker interceptions. And yes, some ships were seized. But here's the reality. Over 100 tankers continued moving. Only a handful were stopped. That's a system that's still working. Final thought. So the real question isn't, will the war end? Will Hormuz reopen? The real question is, what has actually changed? Because the shadow fleet still exists. The payment system still exists. The reserves still exist. The alternative supply routes still exist. Ending line. The closure of Hormuz was supposed to be China's worst nightmare. But China wasn't caught off guard. It was ready. And now, we're looking at a global energy system that quietly evolved, beyond the reach of traditional power.